Okay, this video is about explaining the nature of human induced modifications, and Bonnie, I want you to explain what these modifications are and the impact it has on ecosystems. So there's going to be three: intentional, unintentional, and neglect. So the first one, we're looking at unintentional modifications to an ecosystem. So humans have always had an impact on ecosystems, but it's the unintentional impact that we talk about. So a good example is the picture here. We've got Aboriginal people hunting kangaroos. The hunting kangaroos obviously decreases the population of kangaroos, but it's at a rate in which the kangaroo population can recover without any intentional harm done. So there is a modification here, but it's unintentional. For a long time, a lot of people thought that Aboriginal people burnt large areas of ecosystems of woodlands, and it had a bad effect on the environment. More recent research has shown that it reduces climate change. It helps ecosystems bounce back. It improves their resilience and reduces vulnerability of the ecosystem. So when we talk about unintentional modifications, it's when humans don't intentionally modify the ecosystem. The next one is intentionally. Now, obviously, we've got a growing population of people. We need more areas of farming land to grow food for that population. We need to be able to house that population. So we've intentionally modified ecosystems to house people. A good example would be Tuggerah Lakes on the Central Coast. In the 60s, 70s and 80s, when the population was increasing on the Central Coast, places like Berkeley Vale, Killarney Vale were being developed, and all building material like sand, soil was dumped into Tuggerah Lakes. They knew the impact would have been bad, and as we all know, that if you walk along the lake, the seaweed, seagrass, when the lake levels decrease, dries out, smells. So that's an intentional modification to an ecosystem. Same can be said for dams, hydroelectric plants, and so on. It's an intentional modification to an ecosystem. But what we've done now is try to reduce those modifications, the impacts on the ecosystem. And then the last one is pure neglect. This is a picture of an oil tanker, the Exxon Valdez, which was a big oil disaster. It was called because the captain either fell asleep or was absent from his post, and as a result, the oil tanker crashed into some rocks. And because of his negligence, that means not doing his job properly, the boat crashed, splitting up, releasing all the oil. So the environment was modified due to negligence, and this has happened throughout history. For example, in the Gulf War, in Iraq and Kuwait, oil wells were lit by retreating soldiers, and as a result, damaged the environment. So when we look at human modifications, there's three levels: intentionally, unintentionally, and neglect. So that will help us to understand how humans modify the ecosystems. Okay, hope that helps. Make sure you watch this, and make sure you write down in your Cornell notes some keywords, important points, and questions. Okay, thanks.